happen. For the few of you here, wenye mmeshiishi, that is, wenye mlizaliwa kitambo, you know how the government does. Wakati, let me use the Raila as an example. Sorry, wafuasi wake. Wakati Raila alienda kufanya mambo ya BBI, is it BBI? Huko Harambee House, akina David India, akina Mudavadi and so many people walitoka kwa kampi yake. Wakati walitoka, wakasema ametuuza, ametubetray. Ruto akaenda akanunua watu. Sasa hao watu wanafanya nini? Anakula na wao. I can see too, who hosted me, bibi na bwana na mimi wakinihost hizo siku zenye nilikuwa nadhani nitauoa. Hata I wish I knew wangenimaliza, ningekuwa nimeuza chipo zangu hata siku 2. Kimuzi, unakumbuka siku nyingine nikiuza kitu kwa DM? And for you, by the way, if you're here and you are small wig, vile huwa mnasema small wig na big wig. If you have Intel and you feel like unataka kuiweka kwa TL, eka kutoka kwa account yako. Eka kutoka kwa account yako, heri utumie mtu link, a like ama a retweet, kuliko kwanza kutumia watu vitu DM. Hao watu ndio watakupeana na watasema information unajua. Kudia mtu just because they have a large following. To end this, mimi at the moment, kitu yenye imeniogopesha ni focus. Kwanza kesho we are back to Ruto must go. Kwa Kikisi wanasemanga umuntu ganye mbere ndiye afanye kitu mbaya. Inamaanisha wakati umeua mtu ama mtu amekufa while you are doing something, you wait until hiyo kaburi yake imee nyasi ndio uende kusema alikuwa na dini yangu, tulifanya nini naye. But today when people who we were with, they were being buried, is when some of us are going to dine with the killer. It's very bad. Hata kaburi yao haijafika huko chini, hata hawako wameloa mzazi wake. Wale wazazi wenye, those of us who were in this demonstration, wale wazazi wenye watoto wao wamekufa ama watoto wenye wazazi wao wamekufa, saa hii wakianza kusema kumbe mama yangu yeye alikuwa ama mtoto wangu alikuwa anadhani hii kitu iko serious, akaenda mkaa mstari wa mbele amekufa, kumbe it was all planned from the word go. Let's not be that way. And for us to maintain until 2027, wengi watajikata, wengi watalipwa, wengi watakufa. For the few people who are going to make it to 2027, just in case some of us die or something happen, ama hata tufunga ama tusijulikana kwenye tulienda, ama anyone, please make sure you continue fighting. Sahi kama president anataka kufuta, wanaita kufuta ama kureshuffle hao watu, ma CS, waende nyumbani na hiyo pesa yenye wameiba according to the Auditor General. Na hiyo ndio pesa sisi tunafaa kuendelea kulipa. Kumbuka hiyo pesa ilikopwa and then nasikia sijui ministry fulani imepewa pesa fulani. Haijafanya kazi but we continue paying. And kumbuka inaendanga na interest. So until when are we going to have a better education? Until when to outside the country? Mi juzi nimenyimwa visa ya US, I was going to do a masters. But here I am. Nateseka, is not like I'm better. Sikia walimu wameanza kulipa 17,000. Sieri niuze chipo zangu. I learn a salon. Acha nifanye mashauri zangu, nifanye vitu zingine za maana but sasa mimi mtoto mwenye nitaza hiyo ndio maisha atakuja kufanya kuuza chipo kwa barabara. Can we continue fighting for a better Kenya? And for you watu wenye mko diaspora, mtu asiwahi Twitter akiwaambia eti anaongea hivyo na yuko Kenya. If you were in Kenya, ungekuwa unapitia hiyo maisha. Na hauko Kenya because Kenya is not favorable. Na hiyo country yenye huko laws are working. Why is it that we have a 2010 constitution that is not working? And among the irreducible minimums zenye tunaenda kuweka sahi, let's include the president inaitwa executive to respect the constitution of Kenya. Si wakati mimi nimeiba na piwa fine ya 10 million, mtu amedivert pesa kutoka NHIF ya 9 billion yako uka ako free, anakuja hapa kutuambia and by information I don't know accountability. Shut up mama, we ni mwizi. Only that wewe uwezifikiwa sahi, your time will come. Tell me how Obado sahi anasema anarudisha hiyo pesa. Anarudisha aje? So aliiba, anarudisha ndiye kukaa kwa the government. There are so many bad dirty things that are happening that if we get divided they'll walk away, and it's our money guys. Ona sahi tunateseka. President amekataa kuajiri for the next 1 year according to the budget. Eti ndio wapate pesa wafanyie nini? Waibe, wapeleke every ministry waibe, ama wanamchoteanga baadaye because there is no way he's keeping quiet. Anyway, mimi nasikia vibaya and I'm still not okay. But just in case of anything, muendelee kufight. If they kill you or they kill me, when nabaki continue fighting. Watu wanadhani country ni yao. The day has come and they'll have to do. Hii kitu yenye Chebukati alipea Ruto, atarule na sisi vile tunataka. Si atakuwa na make vitu anakuja kutufanya sisi ni mafala, tunaingilia tunasema the president has said. too much to say, but I have to go. Thank you. Bye.
Alafu then I continue. So no pressure, Bella.
Hi guys, mnanisikia?
Tunakusikia.
Oh,
Hi.
he mi by this sijui hata nianze wapi, sijui ni kujam, sijui ni kufeel tu umebeba ufala. Hey my god, because mbona hata tulikuwa tuna push hizo tags, sijui free what nonsense gani hiyo, na sasa ndo vitu mingi zina make sense because why Osama anyway. Kuna kitu nimeona Ombachi ame quote kwa tweet ya Hanifa akamshow, when you're running a race, you don't keep looking back because uta trip and fall. Chenye tumeachieve so far by the ni tuseme tumeachieve a lot. Hata kama hatuja, kuna ile tweet Kimuzi alikuwa ameweka ya the things, the bare minimum zenye wanataka Ruto afanye. So hata tuseme ni 80% of that, it's better than zero. But betrayal huwa inadunga heart mali ungeamini, like una feel some sort of pain that you didn't know you would feel, as much as huwezi sema ni direct that much kama watu wenye wame lose their loved ones, like Rex, like that basically amaitwa, yes, that guy. Yani it's just so sad. Na ndo nimeona sahii like how people are asking questions, because sijui ni ile fear ya kuuliza maswali at that time. Hiyo time watu walikuwa wamejam sana about the finance bill. Hiyo fear that ungeuliza tu swali hivi watu wakurukia, because it didn't make sense. So many abductions, but unajua tuko tu hapo, you're just, we are like, no, none of us has to die through this. We are doing this together up to the end. Kumbe tuna push tags za watu bana wako status wana sign checks. My lord. Lakini pia Osama na juu kwa hii space unasikiza na masudo accounts. Au comes unasemanga your remote juu ya Sony ilibebwa na ulishikwa kwa ya BNB. Unatembeanga na ikiwa simu, ikiwa watch, ama exactly ikiwa nini. Ilitubeba ufala by then ile siku as fake as they all show. Kwendeni huko. Ati nani Kipchumba anasema I know you Osama. By the way, that was a red flag, but hatukuona hivyo pia that time. Tulifikiria you're just as famous as you make Twitter look like. Nika Twitter ni yako. By the way, Twitter si yako. Vile unamkanga hivi mtu sijui una feel ati war is war, unamkia watu, unaanza kuweka space kupasha watu. Twitter si ya mama ya mtu. And oh please, yeah, thank you for betraying us. At least tumejua. Vile tu 5 people amesema kwa kama mko kwa safari, kila mtu akifika stage yake unashuka. Ameshukia stage yake. Tutabaki vile na vile Vivalin amesema wenye watabaki hadi 2027 ama whatever time. Ikifika point una feel it's your time to alight the bus, please alight, let the rest continue. Si discourage mtu. We either in this fight together or not. Anyway, another thing on hii juu sahi bado tuko na hasira, we are still mad. Mali hasira nataka to direct ni Monday at the Ministry of Health tuna occupy MOH na convince ndio people kama mko hapa mjue tunakuja on Monday. You have to post interns and yes, say tuatatea interns and other irreducible minimums. Najua nao KMPDU mnaweza itwa State House weekend. Pia nyinyi mjidishi by the way, hamna adabu. Nini mkasavu hiyo chakula na mpeo hizo checks. But Monday tuko MOH, tupata nini huko? Otherwise, thank you for the space Kimuzi and your people in your diaspora. Hata hiyo pesa yote mmechanga. And condolences to all the families that have lost their loved ones. Rest in peace, Rex. You're buried today with Beasley and the other one. May God rest their souls in peace. Everyone who betrayed you guys, I just hope damu yao watoto tu walilie, because aki watu, well, everyone has a prize, but it's okay. Otherwise, you guys sleep well, but Monday to occupy MOH, okay? Have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Hello, before anyone speaks, ndio nilikuwa napitia TL, there is too much notifications hata uonani. Nimeona mahali Miguna said shut up NIS idiot and many people are believing, which is a given. Si shida watu kubelieve mtu anaweza kuwa nice or anything, but it's inappropriate at this given time because na feel betrayed the same way nyinyi mna feel betrayed na Otero. And for those who know me, or for those who have interacted, they know I anakuwa traitor kwa hii kitu, like mi niko hadi mwisho. And for your information, I want to clarify one thing ya Occupy State, one of the biggest, na watu walikuwa the people were so charged, and many people called, and many people nilikuwa nalenga calls na text kwa naona, because mi nilikuwa to focus na Occupy State House, but sikuwa najua people are going to breach the State House walls. And secondly, hata wange breach hatuna IBC. That's why I had tweeted that morning about IBC, which means if we are to do this thing right, we are doing the right way through constitution, sell out, because hakuna mali atajificha, like just say it, like nashangaa, unajua on the right track of kutetea justice, haina haja uanze sijui, hata ningekuwa nafungua Space Sky ya nini watu wa jam, for what reason nianze kufeka Otero hadi the last minute anatoka watu, for what reason? Tuko tunaulizana hata na Anifa, mbona mtu aende hadi mwisho? And I asked Anifa knew this, nilimuuliza asubuhi leo, mbona huku niambie mimi niseme, mimi singeogopa kusema last week, ama sijui when atina huyu amenunuliwa, which personally I know which personally alinunuliwa, because niliona yeye ndiye alianza kutweet tusiende status, which was the first one, and he has been against the movement since last week. So I have known so many people here were bought. So ukiwa na info, mi siogopi, mi nitasema tu, mi nitataja, because we are doing the right thing, na hatufai kuwa na watu wenye wanaweza chenye Otero amefanya ni kama mtu mwenye umeenda place then anakudunga kisi ya mgongo juu ako nyuma yako, anakuguide kwa tunnel ati tunatafuta kitu, then anakudunga kisi ya mgongo. Same. You should never accept money for activism. That's why I always go against Boni. That's why I'm always against Boniface Mwangi, and he knows this, because I don't accept activism yenye inalipwa. Either watch activism ama usikubali pesa. Usiwahi kubali pesa for activism. It doesn't work that way. Nilisikia mtu hapa akisema ati hata kaa ni 10 million I can sell my soul. No, you should never say hata kaa ikuwe priceless, hata billion. Just leave activism. Wewe fanya biashara yako, kuwa politician. That's what I'm just trying to put across. So Jelani, naona umeinua mkono, you can talk. Niko just pissed off na Miguna because ni mwenda wazimu wako Canada. Siwezi sema ni somebody I know or anything, but unajua saa hizi nikisema Jelani you are a traitor, ulilipwa 5 million, people will believe me because it's Kimuzi, and many people believe me, you know that. Anyway, it's okay.
Jelani,
I wanted to say I'm
Jelani.
so grateful to Hanifa because she didn't, even when she found out this information, hakutuambia. Because if she had told us, if anybody had told us this last week, hatunge believe. The same way Oduk has been tweeting all these things and then we think he's a madman and we don't believe him. Hakuna mtu angebelieve history ya Osama because of how he was tweeting. And her silence is what has allowed Osama has painted this picture for himself. Yeye tu na brush stroke yake akatutwitia hizo vitu zote, akachocha watu, akaandika hizo vitu zote aliandika, and then finally revealed himself as the traitor that he is. So it is very good. It's very good that Hanifa did not come and announce, oh, this person is a traitor. And there's something Khalif said that was so important. He said, the truth, you can't hide the truth and you can't hide the sun. So it's hii kitu hata hakuna point ya kushinda tukisema oh, so and so was paid, so and so is on this payroll, so and so. The truth will come out. Hakuna venye utajificha. There's no way you'll spend all day lying to people on the internet and pretending you're part of the movement and this thing doesn't come out. Itatokelezea. It might not even be today, it may not be next week, but the truth will come out. Another thing I want to say, this divide and rule thing, it's been very, very effective. That day for Occupy State House, we had the space. We had the space that had 100K plus people, and everyone was very, very charged. And then Kimuzi's space dropped. When Kimuzi's space dropped, nikaweka space because I couldn't reach him. I was trying to call him, I couldn't reach him. So nikaweka space. My space didn't have that many people, I think, who were like about maybe 20K. Quite the second space, by that point, there was already people tweeting and writing, oh, Msiende State House, oh, and then I remember tweets that were being written at me and Kimuzi, we are beating war drums and we are even in diaspora. Hata hatuko huko home, kazi yetu ni kuambia watu waende State House wakauliwe huko. So I had to clarify in my space, nikasema me personally I was for occupying State House, but if it means mtaenda huko kukufa, I don't want you to die. And what then happened, because Gerald Bitok was on that space the next day, how bloggers, the same bloggers who used to spread COVID propaganda, na mwende mwangalie timelines zao, because I remember that kitu gani group, those agency fools, those same people the next day ndio walikuwa huku wakizunguka wakisema oh, Jelani this, Kimuzi that. They were busy spreading like just information to make it seem like Mimi, because I said people should go to State House, or because I was holding spaces and everything, Mimi ndio mbaya. And this thing has been going on every single day. Unasikia story, leo tena imekuwa Kimuzi ni NIS, kesho, like it's just very efficient propaganda. It's extremely efficient propaganda. And we have to decide, as people who are pushing this thing online, we have to decide, tunasimama upande gani? What is the message that we are pushing? We put aside all these side shows, we put aside all this trying to bring people down, and we work together. Me, that's what I think. As of Osama, deplatform him. If you're still following him, unfollow him. Watch, msirudi kumpea any more attention. Wacha hiyo pesa amekula. In Kikuyu we say nega nuone ishwaria. If hiyo pesa amekula, wacha atosheke na hiyo. Like, let him not have another platform here. Let him not have even all the power you people have given him, where you can't even call him out when he's doing BS. Like a couple of weeks ago, I think he was attacking Molage, and then there was a time he was attacking Guantai, and then there was another time he was attacking Kalasinga. None of you ever call him out. You guys are just there laughing in his mentions. Now see what he has done. Now see what he has done. So we just need to deplatform him. That's what we need to do. Wacha nisikasirike sahi. Let's give somebody else a chance to speak.
Jamred, please go next. Then Andy.
Like unajua, the funny thing is we Ricky, pia wewe you not a man enough, you get. Najua ulikomment follow and everything, una get. Hata sasa ile like I think his space after imekuwa hosted, na nilikuwa like, hey, I'm texting Ricky, naona Ricky ameniunfollow bro. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? Unajua? Like mi nataka ku prove my point out, but I think Ricky is just nasemaje, you're not different from Osama. Unaget? Ile kumeni
Kwanza motherfucker
ulikuwa
alisema akipewa 5 million hata yange fold mbwa sana
Bro,
huyo.
sasa si cheki. Personally, mimi na
bro,
nilikuwa
we ni malaya, unajua? Hauna stand, unaget?
sawa.
Jamrix,
Baby.
kwanza ujue wewe
We
ulinunuliwa,
bro,
you are a sellout. Wewe ni mtu wa New
bro,
Gen,
mi
sijui mbona unafanya
sijanunuliwa
nini hapa.
madafaka, unasikia bro?
Bro,
Mi sijadaiwa for
motherfucker
fucking
wewe.
shit, unaget?
Jamri kwanza wewe.
Listen.
You're the last
Huyu
person.
Unataka
Jamrix ni
kusema
sellout.
nini?
Huyu Jamrix is
Sellout
just like
madafaka
hiyo
bro
Tero.
wangu.
Jamri, you're the last
Oh,
person who should talk kwanza. Wewe motherfucker kwanza ulituuza kitambo.
Nija
alituuza
we
kitambo,
malaya
it's no
hauna,
vidoki.
sikuuzwa bro. Mimi
Ulituuza
nilikuwa
kitambo
fucking
babe.
elected na
Nani
people
Hata
bro.
Sikiza huyo
Unajua
jamaa.
nani amempea
mimi
mic?
sio
Nani
shoro
amempea
ati
Jamrix mic?
nilikuwa boss.
mimi
Mimi
nimempea mic.
nilikuwa na watu. Unaget?
Mimi nimempea mic.
Toa msee bana. Toa msee bana.
Jamri,
Wewe ni sellout.
Majamaa, wacha
hata
niongee
sijui
Bro,
bana.
ina
sijui
decorum
anaongea
kidogo.
nini.
Decorum kidogo.
Wacha
Mbiti, you
niongee
can go on.
wazee, tumeanza side shows. I hope mnanisikia fiti, unanisikia fiti? I think I
Tunakusikia
have
kaka.
several things to say. I'll pick from what Kimuzi said because I'm one of those people who I think that space that Lee and Kimuzi hosted, I was one of those people. And by fact that you are given such a platform to host people and to drive a narrative, I would get so many calls. Hey, Maze, you're doing well. Thanks for that platform. When you're able to host such a huge number of people, you have that basis. One thing that I wanted to say is what Kimozi has said. I think when you are perceived to be a leader or an influencer for this case, whereby whatever you say affects quite a number of people, you have that kind of privilege. You also become a target. Today I said there is somebody who sent me something about people, and guys were saying just release names. I think it's not fair because you have heard, you see, Kimmito has had attacks. I've had attacks. Even the something that you say, people think that you're infiltrated. Yesterday, we were among of those people. The government bloggers were saying, and if I do which age, at which age, Kimuzi is what age. That is part of what you expect in this. I'll speak about number one. What has been said that I've always said this since time immemorial that we are so many. Even when guys were bashing, I'm one of those people who's always very reluctant to attack someone. When guys were bashing Cairo, and some people were tagging me, "Huyu best yako anatuangusha, huyu best yako anachoma nini." I told them sometimes I can never. I'm one of those people who don't come and say ati msee ametuuza because I'm one of those believers that the truth always comes out. So this kind of things, the biggest propagandist, most effective to do propaganda in government, and of course divide and rule is one of those things. They look at a person they can approach to cause chaos. Number two, I want to talk about these abductions that you're talking about. During that time, I used to get so many calls. Mpaka kuna hiyo space yenye Kimuzi anasema nilikuwa co-host. Nilikuwa kwa border bana huko Kenya na Uganda because even my friends call me, put a tag, they're coming for you and those kind of things. Funny thing, I never got any call or anything about being abducted or anything that, like a threat or anything of that sort. And for me, that brings me to the issue of integrity and the conscience and those kind of things. I don't know how people think 1 or 2 million of those kind of things can ever change your life. It's quite actually a very small amount of money. If, for example, msee kama Osama alikuwa na very big platform, huyu msee angetaka akuwe serious, angekuwa anaingiza mita at least mita per month just by the platform that he had, just by the outreach that he had. I'm one of those people who don't really understand what happened, but my psychology tells me that he's one of those people. If you look, and what pisses me the most is the disingenuity. Yesterday niliquote hiyo tweet ya Hussein nikasema let's have a parallel space, na nikatag Kimuzi na Usama nikwambia what you do, let's have a shadow space such that chenye wase wana spew on the other side, we have a big platform, we can have our own shadow space. And this morning I wake up and I text Kimuzi, I told you I have an idea. If for example the president in his space will be talking about maybe health, maybe because for me, I'm a person who is issue oriented. I'm very, for example, interested in healthcare. So if the president is giving wrong information about healthcare, about education, let's have people actually who can come and give the banks. For example, I had even a very good evidence of all the scandals that have been having in healthcare, and Roy Nakuminja must go. People in education, whichever field.
Mbiti, can I intercept you
Okay.
kiasi tu 30 seconds?
Okay.
Actually, yesterday I had proposed we had a parallel space yenye tutakuwa tuna debunk the president. I even have the tweet, just like when Trump and Biden were having an interview with CNN. Robert Kennedy had his own interview with other panel of journalists wenye walikuwa wanamuuliza maswali exactly yenye wanauliza Trump and Biden. So I had actually suggested what we are seeing, and I'm sorry sikuwa na DM because ilikuwa imejaa. I'm seeing it now na tumeongea naye sasa hivi. Sawa.
Yeah, so that was my idea because again, let's not get I don't like also people being emotional and losing logic, because the only way we are going to get whatever you want is when it becomes logical. So I had this idea that we just have something sober, because if the president is going to have his space, people are not going to of course he's protected, they cannot allow such kind, so we have logic. So I had this idea of a shadow, exactly what you're saying about, and I texted you the same thing. And I texted Kimuzi because I saw, is it Lemayan had done a poster, and you guys, there was even actually a poster. So Osama quoted my total and he said, war is war, whatever that shit is. And people actually, so we were set. So me, I'm waking up and I'm expecting this, and then and then Osama texts me to be around 10, 11, tells me, bro, namuuliza form ni gani, are we set for the space? Akaniambia there's something that is ati kuna makosa imefanyika, I'll be the host. So I asked him, host, of course you and Kimuzi are supposed to be host. Akaniambia is going to host the space ya president. Akasema hey, so akaniambia I want you to speak what you have to speak about healthcare, and I tell him hey, okay, let me think about it. And so I think about it and I ask myself, number one, there was no communication, because I'm expecting we are preparing for this space. People are all psyched up. Even guys were calling me, guys were DMing me, space in others and happy and those kind of things. Because once you're in such a position of privilege, you understand that people actually believe in you, like people have said. You are given that position whereby you're supposed to influence and guide people. It goes without saying that there will be those people, by the fact that you hold that position, like I noted yesterday about the space. And I've always been one of those people who was against people attending the president's space from the word. But you realize even people who think they have logic, ikakuwa sasa who is going to host the president? Ni kama mnalipwa host the president. I don't know, you want your profile to I don't know what comes with hosting the space. People actually sending the president, we want you to host us. And I came to realize, like, hey, there are very few people in this shit who are very genuine about it. People forget that people have died. People forget that we are burying people. You know, people forget that wase walikuwa tear gassed and those kind of shit. So for you, you're more interested about appearing to be the person hosting the president, do what, and those kind of shit. So and then after that, ndo nikakaa chini nikajiuliza. Now at first I was like, okay, the president wanted a platform, because we had said no. If the president is going to come to our platform, we are not going to his space. We are going to host him. So I'm like, I now know Osama ndo host. But again, I came to realize Osama is in state house. Osama, kwanza if you paid attention when the space was starting, he said, niko kwa hawa yangu, I want to fix the internet and that kind of shit. And that's what pisses me the most, because for whatever reason, if the president has approached you, if the government has approached you, what is so hard in telling us that by the way, say, izeni mazee, nimekuwa approach to host this space, I'll be hosting the president from State House. Number one, the first thing is just being honest. We never know what has happened in the background. We never know kama ulikuwa umetucheza, but at least what you owe us the most is that bit of honesty. Just be genuine and tell us this shit has happened. Kuna venye, no, you might not even, we don't even care about the details. Again, that comes to the issue of those people that surround you. Sometimes I find my life to be very easy because penye niko peke yangu, nobody knows where I stay, naishi huko mashinani na vitu kama hizo. But I find it difficult. We might also blame Osama, but it's very important that we take also those people around them. Start tracking those people who are abducted, whether it's fake or true. You come to realize it's not normal that this thing was just, the state is very organized from the word go. So it means there are quite a number of people who are approached from the word go, even if the abductions were fake or not. Mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa kipaumbele wa kusema fuck you na kutusi wasi wa gavana. I never got any serious threat that will say I'm under siege or I'll be kidnapped to kind of shit. So the most important thing and the most saddening thing is say kitu yenye nalaumu Osamani number one, wase wamededi bana. Your closest friend has died, people have died, hadi wase wanazikwa left right and center. Jana nimetoka kuattend postmortem ya msee alishutiwa huku Bungoma mazee, hawana shit. I even reach out to Anifa nisaidie 20k juu sasa tuko na maneno mengi. Unajua mazishi ya Western lazima watu wadishi na hizo msee postmortem imebidi nimefanya postmortem, tumewave, people are dying mazee kwa ground, and then wewe unatupeana kwa some small money. So that I think it's just inhumane. You're very well. As I wind up, the point that has been raised by some, I think we expect such a thing to happen when you're fighting for such cause. People will come back, they'll be backstabbers, people will drop, but hey, let's not focus. Nimeona Murkomena wameunda njia ingine funny, sijui tunnel, wameshaanza kupata courage ya kuquote na kutweet upuzi. Umepata we are seeing healthcare, you'll see issues that happening. This government, people will now get the audacity to take us to where we are. So the most important thing, we should not lose focus. I think I'm one of those people who said Nakumenja must go. Like Bella said, we have a doctor issue, which is a very big issue. And I always have issue with Kenyans when people are fighting for important things. Like, how are you guys okay with doctors being on strike for 2 months, clinicians 90 days, na tumenyamaza? We might not be able to oust Ruto from status, but we can make it difficult such that akijua there's no way Nakumincha can stand up and tell us shit because everything is crumbling. Wamadhe sahi hawana care, watu wa shule hawana afya. NHF ndio they are fucking up with this SHF. There's a lot of conflict of interest, there's a lot of quid pro quo in healthcare and many other sectors. So why don't we be people who speak? There are so many issues that we need to address, as I said before. And wasa wametuangusha, many people will fall back. Maybe people will turn around, wageuke wakuwe chuvi,
Daktari,
but let's not focus.
anaenda
As I wind up, so let's not lose focus. Hizi story mmeanza kutusiana hapa, sijui who are you. We might have divergent opinions. It's very disingenuous of us to expect ati mse kama Ricky utaagree na Kimuzi ama utaagree na mimi. I don't mind differing on opinions, siwezi agree na Shanki. So that one is allowed, but what is the most important thing, we should focus on what is the main goal and what is our goal. Hizi stories zingine za msee sijui amefanyiwa nini hizo, and again, like I said, we don't have even to worry about who was paid and who was not paid. Mselewa ameniambia wasi walilipwa, aliniambia we relax tu, give it time. Amenipatia so many details mpaka nikasema hey, because akaniambia you don't even have to worry, just give it time, people will start exposing each other, and let's do that. Msikue wasi wa kuanza kuingilia msee hivi na hivi. Even these politicians, if you come to realize one thing that I've had an issue, Nani has talked about Miguna, Kimuzi. We started we were very apolitical in the sense there are no politicians. We were just guided by issues. There are so many joyriders who hijacked the movement. They brought Kina Migunas. You realize there's a lot of opportunists, even the politicians themselves. Whatever hogwash was happening in Senate about they are woken up. These are politicians. So let's not attack each
Actually,
other.
BT, Miguna alianza kuride the wave last week, I think so. Like alianza kuride after tumekuja so much, after ameona kuna something that is cooking and he's here accusing people.
Bro,
It's so sad.
Let me tell you something. Your space, the first space in tulifika 100 and something K, I think it was a cost. I got so many calls. Even my uncle's politicians were saying, nini. There's a former governor I went to see. Oh, this is the guy who was so many politicians saw an opportunity, especially those people who have been anti-government. Wanasema endeleeni kufinya nini. So unapata mseka Miguna anahostiwa. Even those people hosting those spaces, they are the same people who are fighting to host the president. There are so many people who are saying, oh, they are fighting. If you paid attention yesterday, they were fighting amongst themselves. Who is going to host the president? Please come, president. Please host us. This is a lot of bullshit, mazi. We started very well. Tulikuwa na space yetu. They did not believe that people could come and join, and that's what we need to focus on. Even people there are so many politicians who paid. People like in a Safaricom, they are involved. So there's a lot of people at play. The only way we remain focused, we become very organic, we become very genuine. Do not entertain any politician. Do not listen to any politician. Let people attend their spaces. Miguna, because you know how many million followers they'll get to. I don't know why people are fascinated by numbers. I said yesterday in the space we had with Wanyama, I'd rather have 10 people who are very genuine about it. we are speaking about issues. Hata tukikuwa say 10 na tunabonga the real shit, you realize this infiltration will not happen. That's why unapata politicians, why are we complaining about Osama? Because politicians got to him. If you are very genuine, wengine wanaona na atamea do. If you are very genuine, by the way, mimi nimekuwa nikitweet everything consistently. Hakuna hata msemo mmoja anaweza dare ni approach kufanya it, because you are very organic. Even people around you know you are organic. But the moment you are compromised by a politician and money and those kind of shit, we lose. So as I wind up, let's remain focused. One of us has fallen, unfortunately, but let's continue. Not one, but I know there are many, because that shit I know there were quite a number of people. Let's remain focused. Tutaendelea as people, wale joyriders, they will fall. So on Monday maze, let's continue with the same spirit. Let's fight for our interns, let's fight for our nurses, let's fight for our clinicians. Walimu wako na shida, let's
Kimuzi,
invest
naweza ongea
Ministry of
bro?
Education next, fight for these people. Wasi wa agriculture, sisi wakulima kama sisi wale tuko na issues. Let's just have a systematic approach. Of course we need a change of tact. They are here listening, but let's be focused. That is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Okay, nice daktari. I'll have Nevs go next. Amengoja hii mic na anasema net yake iko na noma. Then we'll go to Pillar of Hope.
Yeah,
Nevs.
Pillar of Hope after huyo.
Okay.
Yeah, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Ricky?
I can.
Nakusikia kaka.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I've been pressing Ricky because I needed to speak a bit. I've seen that we are spending a lot of time complaining about this guy Osama and all that. And I feel like if you're driving and one of your tire bursts, you don't stop the journey. You just change the tire and move ahead. So we are taking a lot of time and wasting a lot of energy on non-issues. If, let's assume, God forbid, I was the one who prayed the Osama thing today and I died, will the movement stop? No. So we are wasting time on nonsensical things. Be it he was paid, we shouldn't even be waiting for how much money he was paid, or how much, or whatever, or how many they were. That should not be our problem. We should be focusing on what is the next step. And the next step, which I think is somehow, I don't want to be, I don't want to get into people's heads or like judgment, but I think the best route that we should approach is on good governance and corruption. These things that bedevil our government all the time. I had looted so much for this space, Kimuzi, that I try to put some message out there that, in my opinion, I would rather have these guys who host this space, Kimuzi, Porokemani, Hanifa, and one or two other people who does this. You hold a mega space whereby you will have a multitude of listeners, and from then on you can decide who will be hosting. Why? Because if we keep on having divergent views, like now, you have this space from Kimuzi, another guy there, Afrocentric or whoever, is having a different space. So we keep on losing track. We don't know where we are going. We don't know where we are headed, and most of us are looking up to you guys to see, where this thing will take us. And I believe we can go far if only we are focused. We should, in my own opinion, I'm not for, like Ruto must go, because for me, it doesn't matter if Akao is sitting, as a president, and I'm getting better services. That's all that matters. So my point is, how can we get good governance? How can we get return for our money or whatever investment that we have done in the government or in this country against who is sitting there? It shouldn't be a big issue. I think I'll be very brief. That's all I have to say. Kindly, thanks.
Okay, nice. Pillar of Hope, go next, please. Alafu ukiongea, please drop as a speaker. Kuna wase wana request mic wengi sana.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Kimuzi, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. You are very audible.
Okay, perfect. Now, I wish to convey my deep condolences to the families and friends of the brave Kenyans that we lost in the uh, which we lost in the Mandamano. May God rest their souls in eternal peace and those families get closure. And as I start, I'll take some time, so I hope each and everyone would allow me to speak so that I can be able to demystify the man who's called William Ruto and the solutions that we have and where are we going. He hosted the space today, and it was a teacher who is, yani alikuwa ni mtu anasomea watu. He was not there to be able to talk and to be able to. Sorry, my background is quite noisy. So, William Ruto is a conman in chief and not commander in chief. And the government is heading now is a crime scene. We are the ones who gave him power through the ballot, and we can still be able to get him out of office. I don't want to attack Osama. I don't want to attack anyone who has let us down. They did what they could do. All I can say is let us soldier on. Now, Mr. William Ruto is somebody, you guys are talking about this runaway corruption, but I need to bring to your attention, Kimuzi. Each and every morning, Central Bank of Kenya takes money, about 17 million shillings to State House, which has been the norm. And why do they take? It is always in denominations of Kenyan shillings, dollars, pounds, and euros and yen. It is always taken to State House just because of any emergency of the presidency. He can be able to survive within that day. But the question is, does that money go back to Central Bank of Kenya? No. Where does that money go? Every day, 17 million shillings leaves Central Bank of Kenya to State House, and it never comes back. William Ruto and the people who surround him are a group of conmen. There are a lot of people who have lost their money. There are a lot of people who have closed their businesses, and there are a lot of people who have been conned. I have the list of all the people who have been conned by the government, including the president himself and the people around him. William Ruto is in that office. You guys wonder where does Oscar Sudi get the money? When William Ruto was the deputy president, Oscar Sudi used to take people to the deputy president's residence each and every morning between 5:30 and 6. You're going to meet William Ruto, you have to give out 5 million shillings. And they used to divide. William Ruto appears somewhere, sits, talks to the people. If he sees you are credible, he will do business with you. And he will not do business with you, he's going to steal your money. So that is major corruption number 2. These people are in that office to sell their time. You can't be able to see them. And if you will be able to see them, you will have to fork out money. William Ruto, his litmus paper first to go for presidency was during the yes and no campaigns. He schemed. He was able to raise the votes for the no brigade, then came into power, schemed how he's going to take over from President Uhuru Kenyatta by dividing the Kikuyu community. Sorry, we are tribeless, but I have to say as it is, where did the rain start beating us? So William Ruto came into that office, schemed. They fell out with Uhuru in 2016, late 2015, early 2016. And he was to be jailed in ICC, were it not for Ambassador Monica Juma, who at this end betrayed Uhuru Kenyatta. She used to give information to her husband, and her husband used to give to Dennis Itumbi. And that is where the narrative of HNIB, Hustler Nation Intelligence Bureau, something of that bullshit came from. And McHugh, she's the only one who was retained by William Ruto in his government. Kimuzi, you can hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Go on.
So I'm audible, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
you are.
audible.
Very, very.
Okay, perfect. Now, when you're running a government, you should be a businessman, not a politician. You should be able to come up with solutions. William Ruto today has no business and has never been a businessman in his entire life. There is no factory or company that he has brought it from scratch. This is somebody today who I think in his all wisdom sat down and said, I was never employed until I became an MP. You heard that? So why would he want our children to be able to go outside, to go and have jobs, some stupid jobs in countries abroad, while his children here in this country have businesses? They are conning people, including even Nick, who was conned, a South Sudanese person, and other people who have been conned and were deported. So what you guys are seeing, you guys have not seen or heard of William Ruto. This guy, in terms of, he has zero respect even for a human being. That's all I can say. In the run-up to 2017 election, the guy schemed, sat down, divided the emerging leaders from the central region who could be a threat to his position, including the likes of William Kabogo, who they gave out a very, very, very bad narrative. And I can see he's here in the space. He can hear me. Actually, even you guys need to know that William Kabogo's son Alvin used to procure women for the PA of the president, and he used to be paid 400,000 shillings. And they used to take those girls to Riverside Drive in an apartment which was owned by Jomo Geshaga. All the money that was stolen from Eurobond was divided amongst these people, and some of that money is invested in Dubai through a real estate company owned by one man called Brian Etemad, who works for Uhuru Kenyatta. Not to say that this money was stolen. It is now our time to be able to pay it back. But how do we pay something we've not been able to see its fruits? SGR was another scandal which was negotiated. Those people were brought by Jimmy Wanjigi to Kenya, but they were unable to agree on the commissions. The amount, yani Jimmy Wanjigi alioshwa na William Ruto na Uhuru Kenyatta, ndio akaanza kupiga vita serikali, akalipa nani? Jamaa anaitwa Alfred Kiter. And to silence Alfred Kiter, because he doesn't love women, what does he love? He loved money. And he's a fraudster himself. So what did they do with Alfred Kiter? They set him up with treasury bills. And he fell for that. And William Ruto was the one who was behind it. So that they can do what? They can eat the SGR in silence. The money from SGR in silence. Jimmy Wanjigi akapigwa vita, huyu akapigwa vita. So hii watu yote ambao wako hapa ni watu wa sarakasi. We do not have any person there who takes care of our interests. All of them are a bunch of conmen and fools, people who cannot be able to sit down with you and reason. Another fool is Kalonzo. Raila Amolo Odinga is somebody who cannot be given the presidency because the US government does not have anything against him. They do not have leverage. For William Ruto, they gave him the seat. And who helped him? They interfered with the IEBC. Kimuzi, if you can remember, there was a time William Ruto alipiga kifua akasema, mimi siwezi kushindwa hii. You remember that, Kimuzi? Hello, Kimuzi?
Yeah, I remember. Hata umenikumbusha mali aliambia kijana fulani huko Kitale, wewe kijana unaniongelesha kama nani? Now so many things make sense.
Now, let's move on. Alipokuwa anajipiga kifua, they had already infiltrated the IEBC system. I swear by the living God today, kama yeye ni mwanaume alishinda hiyo kiti kihalali mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu, anasema alikuwa amependwa, afungue server ya IEBC. Mzee Raila Amolo Odinga had won fair and square. They infiltrated the IEBC through Davis Churchill, who is his IT geek, who I don't know what he does, but it was infiltrated. And that is why William Ruto was boastful. Uhuru Kenyatta warned us, told us all sorts of things. We did not listen. We were being arrested. Myself, I worked with this guy since URP days. I was there when URP was formed. I was there when UDA was formed by this guy who's now a nominated member of parliament in Yala. Yule anatembea na crutches and Duale in Narok. That UDA was born in Narok. And these people have no absolute way to govern a country. You cannot govern a country through con men or con women. William Ruto is not somebody. against the amount of money he has and the time he has worked for in government, if you question him, how much worth are you? And how much have you worked? Or how many years have you worked? What was your salary? What was your per diem? How did you how were you able to get these billions of money, these expensive watches, these ranches you bought? And you have no, haina shida wewe kama unaweza kuiba iba, lakini you take the money out of Kenya, start it somewhere, it never works, it does not do anything, then hata mchanga bro ukiokota inaisha, unaenda mali nyingine unaokota tena mchanga inaisha. Hii nchi, we will not have a country. Believe me, you will not have a country come 2027 if this guy is still on the seat. Saizi more than what is in public domain. I am here. I am part of those people who financed this guy's campaign. And when he came in, sisi ndio tuliaktiwa kwanza. Bad policies. You tell the guy, bwana, this is not how the government is run. Do this. No. Unawekewa tax ya 1 billion shillings. Unafungiwa. How many companies have closed in Kenya? How many people have run away from Kenya because of the bad policies the government has come up with? Afadhali kina Kabogo, these are people who are well known, alikuwa na clearing Mombasa. Uhuru ni mtu alianza na flower yake akaanza hapa na pale. At least jamaa struggle. He knows how to earn a shilling, how to save, what to do. Lakini the man we have here in question is somebody who has been brought up in a poor environment, which it was not his liking to be born to poor parents, or their bringing was bad. But when he got there, he got excited from the word go. He's somebody who was not earned. Who are going to fleece and make Kenya is a very, I can put, Kenya is a very strong country with beautiful souls like you guys. people who are strong enough, people who can think for themselves. I would like you guys to sit down and reclaim this country. It is going to the dogs. The person in question a petrol station cannot be able to manage a factory, does not have anything at all. And the likes of people who advise him are people like David Langat, people who he does not listen to. Ubaya ya William Ruto ni moja. Ameongeza kiburi, ujuaji, ujinga, ulafi, yote kwa pamoja. So how do you deal with a fool who's heading a group of fools who are clapping for him, and this country is ours? It's going to hit us hard if this guy will still be there in the next coming years. By any means possible, the only way we can get this guy out is who gave us this guy? The Supreme Court. We need to move to the Supreme Court. After moving to Supreme Court, we need to have a digitalized system whereby we can use our ID to be able to vote, even if the IBC is not constituted as it now. We are able to have this guy. We can be able to have this guy out, because the same constitution that guaranteed him is the same constitution that can still protect us and protect also his rights, but also protect the rights of each and every Kenyan who is here in Kenya. We do not want to see our children go out, our girls go out. Do you know what members of parliament do when they go outside to Dubai or Qatar or wherever they go? They go there for fornication. They go there to have to spend time with our girls. So does William Ruto want to send our girls to Dubai or any other place so that when he travels there, he's able to go and misuse them? Or these members of parliament, kina Didmas Baraza, kina nani? Kwanza huyo Didmas Baraza akijaribu kuongea, tuko na news yake akikulana na mwanamke Morocco, a Moroccan lady. We are going to bring this whole thing down like a house of cards. William Ruto kazi yake akiona mwanamke kwa room. William Ruto is so bad in such a way that if a woman goes and visits him, the first thing he touches is her boobs. I have a list of them. Alikuwa anakula dem MCA kutoka this northern thing, Marsabit or Isiolo County, pale Hemingways.
Hey,
No,
moderators, kindly help us wrap it up. We
no,
have so
please,
many people who want to.
please let me rant as much as I can. At least because
Wacha amalize
I'm
kuongea.
coming to something, please.
Yeah, continue.
Now, why would a whole president want to go outside and take people? He promised to create jobs, yet he did not have any plan whatsoever to create any job. You cannot just create jobs for the sake of like unafanya hivi na hivi kuongea mdomo yako. Hapana bwana, what is so hard for William Ruto, ndio anakopa. Unakopa unaweka kwa barabara, unakopa hata hiyo barabara hatuoni. There is no development the government has done, recarpeting nani. There is no major thing these people have done. The only way we can be able to tell him is, listen man, you said you can create jobs, But we don't see you creating any jobs. You do not have a plan. We have to have a light industries. We are an importing country. We are not an exporting country. And when you consume more than you produce, my friend, you are doomed to fail. When you hike expenses to run those companies, you're going to close them down and jobs are going to be lost. We import, brother, when I sit with my Chinese friends, I do not have the audacity to talk because we are told, we mpaka muna import nail cutter, unatuambia nini?
Son of a Taylor,
This is somebody.
unaweza pause
This is
kiasi. Unaweza pause kiasi, kuna watu wanataka kuongea, then we'll continue. Give us like 10 minutes, then we'll continue. Is that okay with you?
We Ricky, wacha amalize his line of thought tafadhali.
Sawa, haina shida.
Wacha amalize his line of thought. Yes.
Sawa. Okay, is everyone as a speaker okay with that before we continue?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can give him 10 minutes to wrap up.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
but that was not a unanimous decision, man. You cannot just have one person talking throughout the whole. We have 12,000 people, man.
Okay.
Wacha
Mpatie 2
we
minutes.
can.
2
I
minutes
think
to wrap it
I'm
up.
going to shorten this, and then maybe we can have another conversation with Kimuzi with the solutions. So let me just wrap it here. The moment your country, you guys, I need you to look at this perspective. This country is importing more than it is exporting. We only export small foodstuffs, which do not bring us any income. We need to sit down as Gen Z. I'm actually a millennial. We can sit down, come up with our own strategies, come up with how are we going to be able to produce, how are we going to cut down these electricity costs, because he has put so many levies that we don't see. This is a country which produces oil. We do not see that oil. We rather import oil. We do not have a lab whereby this mafuta ikiletwa inakaguliwa. We actually import the worst oil. Africa imports the worst oil. I'll have to be honest with you guys. So our line of discussion should be, now the government has failed to create jobs. How are we going to sit down to create jobs for ourselves? In terms of tourism, he said all things go through e-citizen. E-citizen, when you access or do anything, William Ruto anakula share na huyo jamaa rafiki yake. And that is something I can be able to confirm to you day and night. Anapata commission pale. He gets his commissions through government procurement services. For everything that you go in.
Unajua, I want to believe you because let me just add something. Utaendelea, don't worry. There is a deal yenye Ruto alienda juzi South Korea. It's just ni the latest before sasa aache kutravel like a month ago. And you talk about David Lagat, dear Lagat. I personally know them. I know dear Lagat. And your deal, there was a lady. If you look for a picture yenye walikuwa wameenda wote, there is a picture yenye unaona Ruto ako nao watu. Actually, that deal ilikuwa ya David Lagat, and it's actually the truth that you're saying. That's why I am quite appalled. Just
Let me tell you, brother. I can hereby confess there is no trip William Ruto has gone outside of Kenya for the benefit of the people of Kenya. Ilikuwa biashara zake, personal and nothing but personal. And this guy lacked international connection. Uhuru Kenyatta was afadhali huyo jamaa mlevi. Alitufinya ndio, lakini he was telling us Now he's part of the people who are laughing at us. Niliwaambia, muendelee. This man lacked international connection. His assets were frozen in the UK under the name of this guy called David Muge, one batch of a silly, stupid man, who today, even if you sit down with him, they will tell you, give me money. The first thing you want to talk to him, he tell you, give me money. So you guys need to understand that William Ruto did not have the international backings. Alipochukua usukani, alianza kutukana hawa jama so that he can be able to get their attention and then bring them close. When he went for the coronation of the king, akilima hao wazungu, alikutana na Matiangi pale na aliachiwa pesa yake kumamake huyu Ruto na huyo Matiangi. That is, Matiangi was told, sitaki kukuona kwa siasa, unyamaze na unipatie pesa yangu. So all these people, no one is clean, no one is good, all of them need to go. We get new people whatsoever. So you guys, I have a lot to say. Kimuzi, as I wind up, please, we have the youth here. Some are architects, some are engineers, some are what. We can be able to sustain ourselves. Ndio serikali imetuweka kando, lakini mbona sisi wenyewe ndugu zetu hatuwezi saidiana? Issue sio kwenda nje ya nchi. You can build Kenya. You do not have to import capacity. You do not have to export your generation. Wale ambao wako na nguvu na akili unawaambia waende pale, ndio wakuwe nani? Waoshe choo, wafanye nini? A lot of people are running mad in Dubai, are running mad in Saudi. Watu wanaenda wakiwa hai, wanarudi kama mzigo. So I could talk as much as I can about William Ruto, but you guys just know that he's a foolish, fool, arrogant, ignorant man, full of himself. He thinks, and he's bipolar, by the way. He thinks he knows it all. He thinks he can give you, like, you see, when you're with the guy, he's talking too much and a lot of ideas are running. That guy is bipolar. That is somebody who beats even Rachel. And Rachel is even a thief who stole 60 million from people in pretext of giving them CAS and PS jobs. So this government, all of it is a crime scene. Shut down this fucking government. Huyu jamaa sio P.O. Box Sugoi kumamake. And I have zero apologies to make. And the website will come up stating all the dirty deals this motherfucker has done, the people he has stolen from, the amount of money the government he stole from the government. And let me tell you guys, this guy, do not expect anything good from this guy. He's somebody who will cool down to see your temperatures and then come up again. But let me tell you one thing. Whatever bad thing he did to Uhuru Kenyatta, is biting him now, is coming back to him now, and this is karma, and this is the time to pay back. Watu walishindwa, I was not around during the Occupy State House. Brother, Monday, ama Tuesday, twende hiyo State House, I will be on the forefront. Tuone kama yeye ni mwanaume ataitisha watu watupige
Pillar of
risasi.
Hope.
Bloody
Pillar of Hope.
fucking.
Thank you,
Na
thank you, thank you, thank
US,
you so
Pillow Bob.
much. Ah,
IMF, we should burn down the
Pillar,
offices of IMF and
Pillar of
World Bank.
Hope.
Kimuzi,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
go next.
Before, I'm really glad. Pillar of Hope, I know you are among the people. Na ni fiti sana. I know you are among the people mwenye labda ulitupwa nje, and hii ni mzuri sana for the intel.
No, sikutupwa. Bro, sikutupwa nje. Mimi biashara yangu, my business was hurt. We paid the taxes of up to 1 billion shillings, and we closed down shop. Saizi sio I do not, because I am 31 years old. Nilianza kazi nikiwa miaka 16 when I finished school with no father and nothing. People have been my
No,
fathers
no, no,
and
no.
mothers, and I
What I'm
reached
trying
where I
to
reached
say,
because of them. But we will come up
what I'm trying
again.
to say,
Yes.
if business ingeenda vizuri, atungepata Intel. I'm so happy tumepata Intel. You get what I'm saying?
Pillar of Hope pia
No,
mi niko na swali.
nimeshakupata,
I have a question to you.
nimeshakupata,
Let,
lakini
let
William
me
Ruto sio
let
huyo
me let me,
jamaa.
let me ask a question, Pillar of Hope. What business were you
Ask
doing
please.
with the government?
No. One thing, I've never worked for the government. I have never been employed by the government. I've never gotten any tender from the government. I've never done any tender. I am in the cargo clearing company sector. We do import goods on behalf of people. Our businesses were affected. That's all.
So
I've never worked for the government.
how did you
So we
know
used to give
who?
even money to these politicians. So we've never worked for government. I've never been able to get any
You
contract
know what you have
whatsoever.
So
mentioned,
how did you know the
what you
president's
mentioned, Pillar,
sidekicks?
You
Guys,
mentioned,
come on, man.
You mentioned something very,
Come
very
on, people.
critical near David Lagat, and I know
This guy
about
is
that
not
deal.
William Ruto.
No, no, no. I'm very happy that he has given us Intel and we'll be hosting him on the space. But what we are
Yeah,
saying,
yeah, but listen, dude, we have like 10,000 people who have ideas, man. Give them a chance.
Okay,
No,
okay,
okay.
mnaweza pea mtu mwingine
Kimuzi,
mic.
Kimuzi.
Kimuzi,
Kimuzi, let me
Let
go
the next
next.
we'll
person
Let me
talk
speak,
go in
more
this
in
please.
one, please.
private. We'll talk more in
Yeah.
private. For now, I leave you with God's blessings, and let me just be honest with you guys. Pangeni
Thank,
nyumba, wacha
Thank you,
tujipange.
thank you,
Do
thank
not,
you.
thank you, thank you,
do not,
thank
Okay,
you,
thank
Pillar
you.
of
do not
Hope.
Okay,
wait for good
please,
thing from
please,
William
can the
Ruto.
next person speak, please, please.
Okay,
Thank you,
mwenye
Pillar of Hope.
amesema
Thank
We
kuna 12,000 people wa kuongea, kindly take over.
Yeah, please, kindly.
well,
Yeah,
it's
hey.
not me, but I'd like to go next, Kimuzi, with your blessings. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up.
We can.
We can hear you loud and clear. Go on,
All right,
please.
thank you. Lovely. Pillar of Hope, we hear you. We know we are all mad about this government. We are all angry about the happenings in all the sectors, in fact. But just to begin, allow me to commiserate with the victims and the families of the people who've been affected by this revolution. This evening, I would like to salute you all in the name of this revolution. It is very painful that we are here and breaking apart because one of the people who we thought was very critical about this movement either has been compromised or has been bought. I don't know which one it is. I don't think for me that matters. I think the reason why this revolution was born in the first place is because out of a need. The people of this country felt the system and the government was not working for them. And that's why we all went to the streets. Now, my biggest worry is the fact that we are spending so much time fighting the man and fighting the people who have been compromised. We spent an entire last week trying to discredit, and there's a gentleman who spoke here and told us all the tactics that are used by counterintelligence. We spent the better part of last week trying to fight the likes of Hanifa, who've done amazing jobs. An amazing job trying to help comrades who are injured, during the struggle. I think it is critical for us to take stock of what we have achieved, regroup and figure out what's next, and so that it's not important. And so that it is important, and history does not misquote us. It is important to be not to be. It is important for us to remember that we marshaled the biggest revolution after Egypt and Tunisia to bring down a government to its knees to listen to us. For the first time in this country, you felt that feeling. You know that feeling you can't explain in your heart. The patriotism of having people discuss and share one vision for this country without having to think about class, without having to think about religion, without having to think about tribal backgrounds. For the first time, we spoke about issues that affect us as young people. Now, this movement is has been marshaled, of course, by millennials and Gen Z. There are other groups, classes of groups in this. But however, I keep on saying this. If you are past a millennial, there's nothing this government can do for you unless they are working for a social welfare to make sure your retirement benefits are paid in good time. Anybody else who's not in that class needs to fight tooth and nail to make sure that this government works for them. Now, the other thing that we all need to realize is that freedom is not free. It comes at a price. We've already paid that price dearly. We've lost 40 young people. And this is the part where I want everyone in this movement to be very responsible. These Twitter spaces that we are holding are the tone for this revolution. They are the communication centerpiece that dictates what's happening from the top all the way down. The people on other platforms rely on your conversations. The people on TikTok rely on your conversation. The people in the village rely on your conversation. We cannot afford to be reckless. We have a responsibility that when we speak from one vision. We speak from one script. Otherwise, you are misleading people who believe in this vision, and when they go to the ground, they end up being casualties. So we have a responsibility to our younger sisters and brothers. And Beverly was here and spoke very, very passionately about soon some of you are going to be parents. I'm a parent already, I have one child. Soon some of you are going to be parents. What kind of country do you want them to come to? Do you want them to be to inherit a country that will never do anything for them? Today we castigate our parents because we keep on telling them, in the last 3 weeks, we have done way more than the first and second and third generation revolutionaries ever did for this country. And I don't want to downplay their efforts in the struggle because they didn't have the same tools we are having today. They didn't have the same knowledge that we are privileged to have today. They didn't have the same understanding of the global context, of the global policies, as well as foreign policies. They did not have that wealth. They didn't have the tools we have to mobilize. So we can't judge them. But most importantly, it is important for us to take stock of what we have achieved. We have managed to force this government to drop a bill that was going to put money in their pockets. When Uhuru Kenyatta spoke and said people are stealing 2 billion, he was not stupid. He knew exactly what he was saying. And for you to think that we are going to bring a government that steals 2 billion shillings every day with nothing but a tweet is very delusional. It's very, very delusional. More people will be bought. More people will be harmed before we realize that light at the tunnel. So the earlier you understand this, the better. If you're not in this for the long run, then you might as well quit while you're ahead. Because just making the government drop this bill has them very, very jittery. The other thing that I need you guys to understand is when we started organizing, and I've been attending all of them from the first one, I have participated in this revolution with my resources and my skill set. When we started supporting this movement, we were ahead. The government ignored us. You know why did they ignore us? Because they were used to the usual protesters who are always considered pro the opposition. And they knew after some time someone is going to show up to claim to be their leader. And then they realized the numbers were rising. And they realized, oh, wait a minute, there's communication structure. Wait, these people are speaking in the same language. And each and every event got bigger and better. And all of a sudden, they couldn't ignore us. So what did they try to do after that? They tried to shut us down. But we still achieved our goal. We managed to march to to parliament. And that's when all of a sudden their eyes opened up. They realized we cannot ignore this movement. Young people in this country, I organize and do a lot of mobilization around public participation and civic education because I believe that's the area where we can change this country. And for the first time, they realized we cannot organize this demographic because they are 70% of the population of the country. So what did they do? They started their antics as usual to break down the movement, discredit, neutralize, pay people. And for the first 4 events, we had beaten the government 4-0. The second time, they managed to make sure they did a press conference to make sure, they quell our anger, and they've been gaining ground. Today, they made another chess move. They hosted a space. They managed to have one of us to be part of that space. That is
Can I interject a little bit, just 5 seconds?
Sure,
Yeah,
please.
naona Otero ameanzisha space anaita sijui Anxiety. I don't know what's going on. I've just seen it.
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Nothing, it's just that.
Okay, fair enough. So today, as we stand, we are 4-2. We've beaten them 4 times. They've beaten us twice. This game is a war. It's about how you play a move. When we were ahead with 4 goals, the president was looking very legitimate. They can no longer afford to do this. Today was a major move for them. It was a do or die. You can tell that the tone of government has changed. We used to have people who would talk down to us, the likes of Achungwa, the likes of KJ, the likes of Sudi. They used to treat us like they would vomit in front of our faces because they had been put on a pedestal. But now the tone of government has changed. They're speaking to us like we matter. And that's where we wanted them in the first place. And we've managed to do that. So when you forget what you have achieved for this revolution, always remind yourself that you have done so. Also remind yourself that you have forced the president to come out and make some few pronouncements like reconstituting IBC in 10 days, calling the conduct on some of his state officials who are very inept and incompetent. How do you claim that you're fighting corruption in this country while the people who are around you, not only are they incompetent, but they are walking around with monies that can't be explained? A few years ago, I used to work for a media house. I won't mention the name. Murkomen used to drink tea in my office every single day. I used to see the guy come every morning, having breakfast in our office. We used to pay him 20,000 to be a political commentator. Today, the man speaks, and we used to look up to him. He was a bright young man who had a future ahead of him. And today, the man can speak from both ends of his mouth because, the amounts of monies that is hitting their pockets and their bank accounts and their families and the opportunities they have amassed and wealth, they have gained enough to disrespect you as a people of this country. Now, what am I trying to say? The other biggest win that we have secured is making sure that for the first time we have unshackled the church from these chains they have with the state. The church is one of the instruments that this government has been using, where we are a little bit more learned, more elite, to down to the villages. Another useless pronouncement, but he has made it publicly. Of course, I don't think that document will ever be made public Because number one, what are you telling us? You're asking, you're forming a task force to audit the debt right now, while we've been paying it. You're paying it from which books of accounts? What sort of nonsense is this? So we have a government that cannot be trusted. Let's not be fooled that because the man is reaching out with an olive branch, that because the tone of the government is right, and because Senate are writing very, very moving speeches, that we have people on our side. No, they are always police from their side. The 1% have enough money to make sure they crush every little young person before they relinquish that power. So we have to stay strong. We have to stay focused. We have to remain driven. And this movement can't be for you if you're driven with money. It has to be more than money. It has to be about values. You must want to see this country better for the next generation. It can't just be about you. You must love this country so much to believe in resetting it so that education is an equalizer. You must love this country so much that you share and shudder at the fact that a government official can stand in front of a podium, appoint people in their family for opportunities, and create a shitty website to make sure that you who has a degree, you who has a master's, go to countries abroad to work as a slave, to work as a house help. No disrespect to people who do that job. You must be angry enough to convert this movement to the fiercest, the most feared human rights movement, the most efficient economic freedom fighters this world will ever see. And how do we do that? We have to devolve this movement. It can't just be about us on Twitter. Sometimes we are very selfish because we have the monopoly of information sometimes, and because we also are very experienced in using some of the best tools. We have to start devolving this movement. Start mobilizing in your own professional networks. Let's create a Gen Z, or whatever you want to call it, a council of fighters that can be able to.
Mr. Tash,
Yes,
you are
sir.
complaining
Yes.
people are taking too much time and you're the one now taking the time.
No, I'm actually
Okay,
finalizing. This is my last
okay,
book.
no
That's why I
problem.
say this is my last. Yeah, sorry. This, like I said, it's bigger than money, and it's our job. We have a responsibility, guys. We have a responsibility to make sure we hand over this country to the next generation with an opportunity for them to thrive. So, what are we going to do? Turn this movement to the most important thing that you can have in your life. Mobilize, build networks around professional areas. Let those professional areas, whether they are medics, whether they are IT guys, whether they are teachers, let them start keeping government in check in all the areas that they're trying to swindle us of our inheritance, swindle us of our taxes, swindle us of our respect of good governance. And we are not asking for much. We are only asking for our birthright, which is our taxes need to be accounted for, and the constitution needs to be respected. And most importantly, they need to have a vision that is about building this country and not brokering deals. Thank you so much, Kimuzi. I yield.
Thank you, thank you. The next speaker, a lady most probably. Ships, you can go on.
I was next, but
Okay,
yeah, the
thank
lady
you.
can go.
Hello, who was next?
Yeah, I
Me.
was next. No, I was next.
Let Shix speak, then
Yeah,
you,
let her
because
speak, then I'll
yeah,
do it. Okay, thanks.
okay.
No worries.
Okay, thank you for giving me the space to speak, and I hope I'm being heard clearly. Am I being heard?
Yeah, we can
Loud
hear
and
you
clear.
loud and
Okay, that's fine. So first of all, let me say condolences to the fallen soldiers, but also condolences to all us Kenyans because we lost people who we shouldn't be actually burying this week. Let me start by saying that. Now, I've, I've seen this. I'm not on the ground, but I've been watching. I've taken my time out of work to go through this to in support of everything that all us Kenyans, whether we're in the country, diaspora, what we're all going through. And the one thing that I can say is that, one, what happened today, there was, me and my mom watched it, and the first question we asked ourselves was, why did the president take one of us to host the page? He's surrounded by so many people, so many advisors, so many young people. There's Hussein, there's Itumbi. They could have done that. The question we need to ask ourselves was why. So you always have, for me personally, I don't know what other people may think, you will always have double agents in a revolution. And unfortunately, Osama is one, and probably many more are still within the space. You will never know who's who. So, but also look at it from this point of perspective. Ruto isn't stupid. By doing that, what we spend most of the time doing this whole space was discuss Osama, not discuss about, not evaluating his speech, not looking at what he did. I don't know if you people caught, because I did, when he spoke about the 12-year-old. He said the 12-year-old got shot so many years ago in Buruburu. And then after that, oh no, it's the 12-year-old in Rongai. Yeah. And then after that, it was a criminal. So what we should have been doing is analyze his speech. He said he's signing the IBC on Tuesday. We should be asking ourselves, if he doesn't sign the IBC on Tuesday, what then? So what he's actually done is actually he's dropped a bomb inside our conversation, and we took our time and started discussing that person. Osama did what Osama was gonna do, whether he was there or not there. Osama did him. So we've lost focus on the price, and the price is, we all agree Ruto isn't the right person for the job. We made a mistake and we're paying for it. But we also need to also agree Ruto has planned his political life